One of my favorite things to do is PMR, which is progressive muscle relaxation. I just want to make sure I say the acronym right. I know the exercise very well because I do this a lot, but I want to also introduce the scientific name behind it, which is PMR, progressive muscle relaxation. And that's when you tense a certain part of your body and then you release it. And you do it mindfully. So your focus is completely on that group of muscles, and you feel what it feels like to feel tense in your body in that group of muscles. And then you feel the opposite. You feel what it feels like to fully relax that part of your body. And that gives you extremes to measure and also a perspective of what it might feel like to come to the middle, or maybe more towards relaxed, whatever feels good for you, right? So when you tense this group of muscles, it's not to, I want to call this out, it's not to feel any pain. Please do not induce pain on yourself. It doesn't have to be that extreme, but it is a sense of stress in the muscle, right? So you're tightening the muscle to a point where you feel the tightening, you feel the stress. So for example, we can start with something as simple as our hand, right? So curling the fingers into a fist and holding the fist tightly for about 10 seconds, breathing with the tightened fist. Don't hold your breath. Okay. And then allowing your fingers to uncurl into a more relaxed state. And I might do this with my hands relaxed on my lap too. So I'm not holding it up in the air, but relaxed on my lap, on the tops of my thighs, making sure that your feet are flat on the floor. And um, let's start with our hands. Let's start, and then we can move to a different muscle group. The exercise is in noticing. And also, where might you prefer, right? If you have a choice, where might you prefer your muscle, which state for your muscles to be in? In a more relaxed state, we tend to be more open to the unknown. We tend to be a little bit more buoyant, a little bit more resilient. We tend to be more creative. And that also lends itself to productivity. So in a relaxed state. But if we're too relaxed, we can fall asleep. So it is a balance, right? Um, let's try it. So I'll invite you now to sit up in your seat, check in with your posture, check in with your shoulders, make sure you're not wearing them as earrings and that they're down, as far down as is comfortable, and that your head is square over your shoulders and your chin. Try not to jut it forward or push it too far back. It's neutral. And your rib cage is square over your hips. Okay, and that should promote a fairly straight spine. And bringing your attention now to your eyelids. See if you can allow your eyelids to feel very heavy. And just succumb to that gravity in your eyelids. Just let them close. Now let's bring our attention to our hands. I have them palm up, relaxed on the tops of my thighs. And bringing your attention to this tightening of the fists. So go ahead and start to curl your fingers and your thumbs inward until you're forming a tight fist. Again, you don't need to cause any pain, but it's tight enough that you can feel the tension in your hands and your wrists, perhaps even traveling up your forearms into your elbows. And let's hold this. Don't hold your breath, keep breathing. Let's hold this for about 10 seconds. And on your next out breath, allow your fingers to become more relaxed and see them uncurl and unfold until they are in a relaxed state. And let's breathe here for about 10 seconds. What are you noticing in this relaxed state? You can answer quietly to yourself. And now I'd like to repeat this. So go ahead now and bring your fingers and thumbs into a curled and tightened fist. And let's hold that for about 15 seconds. And on your next exhale, allow your fingers to gently unfold into an open palm, relaxed state for 15 seconds. All right, let's bring our attention to a different part of our bodies, something that perhaps we mean to give more attention to, but maybe in the busyness of the day, we lose track of it. Perhaps it's your feet and toes, maybe it's your mouth and cheeks and eyes, your face. Perhaps it's your shoulders or upper back, whatever muscle group you prefer. We're going to repeat this exercise now in this new muscle group of 15 seconds tight and then 15 minutes released into a relaxed state. All right, go ahead and choose whichever space you want to focus on and hold for 15 seconds. And now allow yourself permission to relax that group of muscles for about 15 seconds. Cool. And let's just sit here, bringing the attention now to the breath. So dropping in into your breath, just sitting with the breath, breathing naturally. And noticing the sensations that are happening throughout your body now. When you're ready, I'll invite you to bring your attention back into the shared space of our Zoom room. Welcome back. So, Carrie, typically with these sessions, what I like to do is have just a brief discussion of what we noticed, our experience in the practice, and also what can we do to keep the party going? What can we do to bring this practice back into our workday? How can we integrate it for the rest of our workday and work week? So it's a two-parter. And rather than me asking two separate questions, uh, everyone just jump off mic and share. What did you, maybe one thing you noticed about this practice for yourself, and how would you like to move that forward into the rest of your day and week?
I will say I did notice like with the hands, I noticed like the um centering, like the things around me were less distracting and I was more present in my own like little center. So certainly from like a balancing energy to what you were saying before, like if everything else is going crazy, like it's a good way to kind of get a little bit more balanced. And I'm definitely looking forward to practicing it on different areas of the body because that second part, I don't know, it was weird, like tensing up another area. And I'm like, I don't know where to go. So I did like my shoulders, but it just felt weird.
I love
So
that. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for
yeah.
sharing that. Well, what so I heard you say that it sort of helps move the perspective inward. So you literally you're in your body. And that helps ride all of this because you're not so focused on it, right? And then so your experience with your hands was good, but when you moved to your shoulders, it was a little weird.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah.
Like it's just an odd place to tense up and then like it
Mm,
almost feels counteractive to like being mindful in a way because it's like
yeah.
why would I want to be tense here? But maybe it's just another area to like practice changing that feeling on. I'm not sure.
I love
So,
that. I love that. And I would share that, if you choose to be tense,
yeah.
awesome. It's your choice. Be intentional about it, right? And then whatever area that you want to focus on. I was debating between face and shoulders, and I went with shoulders because I do carry a lot of stress up here when I work at my desk. And I think next time I'd like to do my face. But yeah, it's interesting when it's your choice.
Mhm.
So, thank you for sharing that, Jen. That's really cool and totally appreciate the reframe, right? It's not about out here now, it's about in here. Yeah. Yeah. Who
I
else?
did my shoulders as well.
Okay.
For the same reason as you, LJ. Like I was told by someone that I carry a lot of stress like up here.
Okay.
So it was interesting, Jen, like what you said about like doing it intentionally is different because I don't notice it throughout my day, but then when I step away from the computer, I'm like, oh wow, like, you know? But then also when I let it go, I kind of felt like it went all the way down through my body, out my toes.
Ooh.
So that was nice. And then the other thing I was gonna say is generally just having my eyes closed was was a different sensation because I feel like I'm constantly looking at screens. And so just having it closed for I don't even know, those few minutes and like opening up and kind of resetting was an unexpected joy, so to speak. Like that was kind of nice.
Great. That's great. Thanks, Carrie. Thank you. Oh, an opportunity for more unexpected joy and lots of hearts from Jen Harrington. And uh, I love that. What would that look like in a workday for you?
I was thinking about it and I feel like we're all in different time zones, but I'm on Pacific. So it's only like 10 a.m. here. And
Mm.
I noticed I hit that mid-afternoon slump. So I think what I'm gonna try to do is like put it in my calendar and set an alarm just for like 5 minutes to do something to kind of get me through that mid-afternoon slump. And it doesn't have to be every day because I kind of want to start small, but just trying to be a little more intentional with a mental and physical reset when I'm not able to like go to the gym and stuff like that.
So good. That's so good. Thank you for sharing that. I think you've inspired me. Thanks. Nicole, how about you? How'd it go?
It was interesting. My experience was, I guess, focused on like the tension kind of felt like almost like time was suspended. I was so just holding it in, you know what I mean? And kind of like waiting for it to be over. And when I released, what I noticed physically was like the flow of the blood flow. I could feel things like flowing and moving. And it was sort of like a reminder about what you were talking about, of like the creative energy and kind of how things flow a little bit more, and kind of appreciating the relaxed state that my hands were in. Even though they were in that state before I tensed them, I wasn't aware of it in the same way. And it, so that the tension kind of like reset it in that way. But it's interesting what Jen said about having that kind of like as a point of focus to kind of block out the other things. I never thought about it that way. But I think in a way it could be useful to kind of in those moments, which I've been feeling a lot lately, of kind of overwhelm, energy, like, more highs and lows than like, mids, of like having a moment of intentional muscle tension, whether it's my hands, or I actually did my feet, weirdly enough, because as you were saying, like, choose another body part, I was already like stretching out my feet, so I was like, obviously they need
Oh,
some attention. um
yeah.
and so having that as a moment that I can intentionally reset and try and focus my energy or bring it into a more balanced state. If I'm feeling like it's not balanced, I can actually kind of have a micro moment of doing that to to create um, to create the kind of intentional flow, whereas I might have felt like more restricted or kind of, I'm not really explaining myself right, but
You're doing great. You're doing great.
um, because I have been experiencing this a lot lately. And so I'm kind of like, how can I bring myself into more of a focused state, or kind of like block out the noise, but also access that kind of relaxed creative energy that you need to do the things that you want to do. So it is like a bit of a precarious balance at times, but I think
Sure.
this could be useful as like a micro moment, during those like high and low fluctuations.
I love that. Oh, Nicole, thank you. Mm. You've reminded me that inducing stress on ourselves gives us a frame of reference. It's a point of reference. And that releasing that stress, it's almost like, I like how you called it a micro moment, Nicole. It's almost like in that micro moment, releasing that stress allows me to feel a sense of gratitude, because without the stress, let's just put it this way. If everything was always came easy to us all the time, why would we even feel a need to be grateful? There's no juxtaposition to compare it to, right? When we get through hard things, and in this, metaphorically speaking, in this instance, it's when we hold our fists really tight, or our toes, or our face or shoulders, um, you know, yin and yang.
Yeah.
Exactly. It gives us a point of reference of, oh, there is another way that we can choose. We can choose this, and we can also choose to let go of this. And it gives us this. And in doing that action, there is a sense of gratitude. I have a choice. This isn't being done to me. There's lots of things out there beyond my control, but I can choose this or this. So that's what that makes me think of, Nicole. And I think you said that beautifully. It was really well articulated. Um, and I'm really grateful to practice with the three of you. And I'm looking at the time, and we're wrapping now. So next week we're doing one of my favorite moving meditations, which is it's based in Zen meditation. And I am a Zen Buddhist practitioner for forever. And it's called Kinhin, or in layman's terms, it's walking meditation. And I will be, if weather permitting, I will be on my phone next week and out in my backyard. So if anybody wants to, feel free to be in your office. You can walk around your office with me, or you can get on your phone on Zoom and go outside with me. But we're going to switch it up a little bit and do some walking meditation. So I'll look forward to that. And I hope you have a beautiful and balanced rest of your day and week. Thank you.
Thank you.